I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, as promised, let me do another recap here on the current status of the Vancouver real estate market as we're ending into winter, getting ready to come into spring here. The latest stats for compiling for January were just released here. And it's the same story for the last 4 or 5 reports I've given you here. Here we go. So the total number of homes currently listed in the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board is 5,663 homes. This is 32% below January of last year. 32%, and that was low last year as well. This is an 8% decrease from December, month over month. We are now at a 30-year low for inventory. The Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board, we usually have more than double that. 12, 13,000 homes is kind of what the norm has been up until the last year or so. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this. You've got, and remember, out of those 6,000 homes, you know, if you're looking for a downtown Vancouver condo, let's say you want a 1-bed, 1-bath downtown, there's probably 125 units downtown currently listed, but we're not interested in very many of those. I'm not. I'm only going to get my clients into the stratas I know. I've got a database on all the good ones, and those are the ones we're going to go after. And we might have 1 or 2. We might be waiting a couple of weeks for a good one to hit. And that's why you're getting these absolutely crazy bidding wars where they're going 50, 60, 70,000 over asking on the 1-beds. And it's kind of a fear of missing out going on because they've lost out on other units and they're thinking to themselves, well, geez, it took me 3 months before this one came up, a good one. How long is it going to take for the next one to hit? And the prices are trending up 2% month over month, let's call it. So that's what you get. On the other hand, too, just to point out, I'll have to do another blog on the business of real estate and realtors and all that other stuff, but we've got the lowest inventory in 3 decades, and we've got the highest number of realtors of all time. We're currently sitting at 14,500 realtors chasing 5,000 listings. So this business has always been tough, but boy, if you're a new realtor or even a middle-of-the-road realtor, you're starving right now. Because it's the top 1%, 2%, 3% of the realtors like me that are doing the lion's share of the business. I'm busy. But if you're trying to break into this business in this environment, ouch, it's tough. And I'm seeing, you know, a lot of new realtors getting their license, but as many are getting their license are going out the back door because they've gone broke. And I'll do another blog on that later this spring. So here's the stat that I always should throw out to you guys, the active sales to listings ratio. How many years have I been telling you about this? This is the cleanest stat to use. It'll tell you where the market's at because it combines sales with inventory. You always have to look at the you know, in the past, how many times have I criticized the media for saying Vancouver sales dropped 30%? Vancouver sale correction of 20% drop in sales. And I've told you it doesn't mean anything. And just look, they've been pumping those stats out for years, and yet the market continues to go on a roll, which I told you it would, because they're not taking it in conjunction with what the listings are. If your sales drop 30%, but the inventory drops by half, it's half of what it should be, then it's still an incredibly strong market. So the sales to active listing ratio right now for all homes is 40% off the chain seller's market. For detached homes, it's at 28, so that's come down a little bit. The detached market, and I'll get more into this in the spring, has kind of leveled off a little bit. It had a huge surge here the last 18 months. Now, as I've been blogging about, the condo market has joined the party. The detached market now, I think, has kind of hit a bit of a plateau. It's not really coming down, and there's still incredibly low inventory, but the prices have kind of flatlined. Once you get up to $2-3 million for a detached home, hey, you get a ceiling there. There's only so many buyers for those type of homes. Now the condos have joined the party, and they are now starting to surge in price now, in selling prices. But 28% for detached is now 51% for townhome and 50% for apartments. So with this active sales to listing ratio, anything over 20 is a seller's market. Anything between 12 and 20 is balanced. Anything below 12 is a buyer's market. Well, we almost never get into a buyer's market. Maybe once out of every 13 years do we ever get into a buyer's market. And I can tell you on the good condos, the quality stuff, it's pretty much always in a seller's market, or maybe the odd 1 or 2 years out of every decade, we slip into something a little bit more balanced. But we're currently at 50% for condos. We need to get below 12 to get into a buyer's market. We're nowhere. This is not going to be getting anywhere into balanced even for some time to come. We'll see. We would need a huge surge in inventory and buyers to all go away for that to happen. So it's a strong, strong seller's market. Again, I always point out, the only place for the true statistics is the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board. They put this package out once a month. Any other stats you see out there where they try and massage it, they'll talk about sales numbers dropping. The reason they've dropped is because there's nothing for sale. Ignore a lot of it. It's been massaged, it's been cherry picked. The active sales to listing ratio is the best stat. It'll tell you where the market's headed because it covers both ends, supply and sales. And it's so funny how the media, you never hear this stat ever used. It's so strange. It's the best stat, but it's rarely ever used in the media. But that's the way they roll. Prices. So the prices, we have seen a 10% increase in the overall market over the last year. That's including everything. Condos are up about 14% from January of last year, and that is a close to a 2% increase from December of last year. So month over month, we're going up close to 2% a month, and we're up 14% for the year on condos. And I'm seeing this pick up. I did that blog. On the high quality condos, I've seen a bump just since early December of about 6 to 7%, maybe 8 on the good stuff. So as again, the condos have joined the party, and we're seeing a real surge here in prices right now. Give you a frontline example here of a condo that I just sold. Building that I know pretty well. I've had a number of sales in this building. Got into multiple offers on it. I listed it. It sold for $60K over asking price. The selling price on this last month was $1,175 a square foot. The last sale in this building, similar to this unit that I just sold, it wasn't exactly the same floor plan, a little bit bigger, but actually a better unit, I think. Better location and a cleaner unit in better condition. The last sale was May of 2021. That sold for $1,010 a square foot. So $1,010 a square foot last May. This one just sold for $1,175, and it's not as good of a unit. $165 per square foot increase since May in this unit. And I'm seeing this across the board in a whole bunch of good stratas that I follow. The sales from last summer, late last summer or early summer compared to now, we're talking it's up 14, 15, 18% price increases, $200 per square foot up. That's a huge surge, and we'll see where that stops. But for right now, prices are trending up for condos big time. They're making up for kind of lost ground that the detached market was taking over. Last thing I'll show you guys here, just offhand here. You guys that live in Vancouver, you've all been getting these bylaw warning notices for your empty homes tax. They mail you these things. What do you guys think of these things? Kind of heavy-handed, isn't it? I mean, this is the second year they put this kind of format out, where they send you this in the mail. You make your Vancouver empty homes tax declaration. You can do it by mail, but most people just do it online. That's how I do mine. You pay your taxes and then file your empty homes tax declaration, either as a principal residence, or you have to put down there the name of your tenant that's occupying the unit. But look at how they do this. They basically send you a tax bill. This is how it shows up in the mail. It's a bylaw warning notice that required empty homes tax property tax declaration is due. Empty homes tax warning notice due by February 2nd, and then they put it's an invoice. So on this one that I got, if you don't declare this by February 2nd, you owe us $48,000 approximately. That's what I owe them. It's like an invoice. What do you guys think of this? It's a little heavy-handed, I think, but hey, that's Vancouver. We are under a socialist regime here now, and this is kind of a good example of socialism. They don't like homeowners. They don't like anyone that owns multiple properties or landlords. I get a whole gaggle of these in the mail. warning me that I owe $48,000, I owe $31,000, I owe $19,000. Now, I've already paid this long ago. I already did it online 3 weeks before this arrived, but they still sent it to me, I guess. But I think it's a little heavy-handed. And just the last topic here, I had a client, in East Vancouver, who has a Vancouver special. I didn't sell him this home. He's owned this home for 25 years. But he's a client of mine. I've continued to work with him in new purchases. But he told me he got audited last year from the city of Vancouver on the empty homes tax. He filed he doesn't live in this house. It's an investment property for him. He has 2 tenants in there, one upstairs and one downstairs. And they gave him an audit. He had to go through a gauntlet of paperwork, submit a bunch of information on his tenants. They wanted the bank statement showing that the rent was going into his bank. He told me it was a little frustrating, the whole thing. It was almost he said the whole attitude was guilty until proven innocent was kind of how it went. And of course, this guy's got nothing to hide. He's had long-term tenants. He's always paid his taxes. He's, the rent checks are coming in automatically into his bank account. It's all there, but it was a lot of work to gather it all up. Had to have a couple of phone calls with a whole bunch of questions, he told me, from some guy at City Hall. And then at the end of the day, they never did give him a clear green light on it. Apparently they won't do that. He says at the end it was like, okay, we've got your information. We'll let you know if you need anything else. They said, okay, well, is the case closed? No, we could reopen at any time. We might get back to you on this. We need to do a little more investigation. They never give you a full release or anything. You're always still under suspicion. Anyways, but Vancouver empty homes tax, how are we doing on this? I don't hear too much about it. How much money, maybe someone can help me, I don't pay much attention to it. I haven't heard, how much money is the city of Vancouver taking in with this? We were promised, $300, $400, $500 million annually in empty homes. What was it? Something like 1,000 condos in the downtown core were vacant, empty. Didn't make much sense to me, because why would a speculator or investor hold a property empty? Why not just put a tenant in it while you're speculating on the price to go up over the years and collect $30,000 or $40,000 in rent on it? So that turned out to be, I think, a myth, did it not? I don't think we ever discovered thousands of empty condos downtown. From what I understand, I think the vacancy rate is quite low on this. Maybe someone can comment on where it's at. This was going to build thousands of homes. The money that was going to be collected was going to build thousands of homes in the city. I don't know how we're doing on that. I do know we've bought some old hotels, some SROs and things. But I don't know. But again, how do you guys feel about this? You guys that live in Vancouver, this empty homes tax bylaw warning is what it comes in at. And then it's like an invoice. I got a whole pile of these. If you don't file, if you haven't filed by February 2nd, we want $280,000 from you. If you miss it by a day, that's what we're going to hit you with, $280,000. It's a little heavy-handed, but hey, that's what it is. I'm not sure what the Vancouver empty homes tax is really doing, if it's been all that effective. I kind of think it hasn't been. And, the cost to run this program, to mail all these out, the follow-ups and the audits, I don't know how much that is costing. I think the net income that this is producing is pretty underwhelming. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.